各位，很多人依然以为海南自由贸易港讨论的是优惠的政策、税率的差异，或者外资数量的增减。但真正的问题其实更简单，也更危险。海南在测试的并不是一个经济的工具，而是一种制度能不能被世界理解。多位海外学者参与了这一场讨论。海南正是这一个被低估的地方。如果只是看表面的变化，海南最明显的不同并不在于来了多少外国人，而是在于外国人敢不敢留下来做决定，敢不敢在这里注册公司，敢不敢把职业路径压在一个中国制度实验上，敢不敢把长期资产而不是短期的套利放在这一座岛上。这一种敢并不是靠口号换来的。几年前，外国创业者第一次尝试在海南注册公司的时候，流程几乎全部依赖中文系统，政策解释高度技术化，理解成本极高。而今天在海南公司注册、税务投资指引，还有生活服务，几乎全部实现双语线上化，不是翻译文本，而是重构逻辑，不是告诉你我们欢迎，而是让你自己完成。这背后反映的是一种非常清晰的信号。海南并不急于证明自己的成功，而在证明自己可以被使用。自由贸易港的真正意义从来不是更少的管制，而是更低的制度摩擦。当一个外国人可以像本土居民一样理解规则、预测结果和承担风险，那这个地方才能真正进入全球市场的视野。在历史上，中国曾经做过一次类似的决定。1978年之后，中国通过改革开放改变了自身的命运。而这一次，海南并不是在复制某一个城市的经验，而是把开放的本身放到一个完整、封闭、可以观察的空间里面进行测试。海南整一座岛都是实验区，这在全球并不常见。大多数的自由贸易区是点状的，是功能性的，是被严格隔离的。但海南不同之处在于，它并不是一个经济的飞地，而是一整套制度生态的试运行。货物如何流动，资本如何结算，人员如何进出，规则如何解释，风险如何承担，这一些问题不再交由某一个部门临时处理，而是被提前写进系统。这也是为什么海南被一些观察者认为是放大版的香港，并不是规模上的复制，而是功能上的延伸。香港曾经帮助中国理解市场经济如何运行，但是它太小也太昂贵。海南的优势在于空间、时间以及政策的耐心。而更重要的是，海南的目标不只是吸引外资，而是改变贸易的结构。真正推动这一项目的动力不是出口，而是进口；不是把东西卖出去，而是让世界的产品、服务、资本更畅顺地进入中国。这在当下的全球环境中极其不寻常。当越来越多的国家讨论安全贸易、公平贸易和去风险化的时候，中国却选择高调推进自由贸易港。这并不是姿态，而是一种选择。如果海南可以成功，它将证明一个大国依然可以通过开放，而不是封闭来管理不确定性。当然，这并不是没有风险的。自由港不是基础建设的问题，而是软件的问题。制度设计、法律衔接、金融清算、人才供给，每一个环节都可能成为瓶颈。但真正考验的并不在于建设的速度，而是在于执行一致性。规则一旦写下，就必须被遵守；承诺一旦给出，就必须兑现。这也正因为如此，海南不只是一个短期的项目，它不会在1-2年内给出明确的答案。它测试的是中国能否在未来几十年里面维持一个高度复杂，但对外可以理解的开放状态。从更大的视觉来看，海南并不是孤立存在的，它连接着中国改革开放历史，也指向中国未来的路径。 当一个国家开始用整个岛屿来测试制度的本身，问题就不再是海南会不会成功，而是世界是否准备好理解这一种方式。海南并不是一个景点，也不是一个政策包，不是一个招商口号，它是一场正在进行的制度试验，而试验的结果将不只属于中国。让我们看一下视频。
Let's look at how Hong Kong has helped China to turn from a centrally planned economy to a market economy, and now to the biggest economy by purchasing power parity in the world. And so Hong Kong is a free port, but Hong Kong is too small, and the cost is very high. But Hainan is the biggest free port in the whole world, right? So in that sense, China already got the experience of using free port to help opening China's economy. But in the future, China not just attracting foreign direct investment and doing industrialization, urbanization, but also Chinese companies are also going out. So in a way, Hainan, is a institutional change, which basically will create entire institutional ecosystems from customers to no exchange control, free flow of capital and the people and the goods. All this is going to basically make a much bigger Hong Kong, and in a way, Hong Kong is so closely connected to the rest of the world. But think about on the scale of Hainan, that I think is extremely important for the next few decades of China's development.
For the development for the nation. During an inspection tour in Sanya in early November, President Xi Jinping described the Hainan FTP as a major policy decision aimed at comprehensively deepening reform and opening up in the new era. So what role do you expect Hainan Free Trade Port to play in the nation's, let's say, reform and opening up agenda?
Well, I think President Xi has a very big picture in mind when he says about these things. I think overall this is still very much a sort of an experiment, a pilot project. This is the beginning of a much larger scale opening up, essentially rendering China into a free trading nation. There's no reason to be shy about claiming that China is the world's largest trading nation, and we are going to be the world's largest free trading nation. These days, not many countries talk about free trade. They talk about secure trade, fair trade, these concepts. But China is
tariffs.
Yeah, you're right, exactly. So China is the ultimate holder of this, century-old banner. Time-tested banner about free trade, and very characteristic of the Chinese way of doing things. We are conducting this grandiose experiment, and if it's successful, I'm pretty sure it will be promoted to the rest of China. The world's largest exporting country is also going to be the world's largest importing country, and I think this big project is going to open up great opportunities for many people, for many companies all around the world. And if you really think about why China is doing this, it's mostly conducive to increasing imports. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you don't have to do this to increase your exports. Right? So Tainan is going to see a big surge in imports, and so that's certainly good for many countries around the world. And at the same time, I think it also contributes greatly to the local prosperity in the Hainan Island. You're already seeing many people, business people moving to the island, setting up companies, buying up properties. All these opportunities, all these actions contribute to the local economy. So I think, this is again, I want to emphasize, this is the harbinger, if it's successful, of a much larger scale opening up of China, making China a totally free trading nation, a country that potentially that's going to allow free flow of its currency, free flow of capital, and this is really the next level. I think this is probably what President Xi has in mind when he talk about these things in Hainan. Companies going to Hainan, and they will be looking for people sort of in these areas like accounting, like legal services, customs clearing kind of a thing, financial people, these kind of a very traditional high-end service-oriented employment opportunities. But I think probably more importantly is that the Hainan government must be very interested in these high-tech areas opportunities, right? Looking for maybe pharmaceutical research areas. Hainan is actually quite noted for its healthcare industry
and medical tourism.
And medical tourism, exactly. So like high-end hospitals. So I'm pretty sure those people, these companies, these hospitals, organizations will be looking for sort of high-end people in that area. And I'm also very sure that the Hainan government is keenly interested in setting up more. Seeing more companies being set up, for example, in areas of AI, in areas of these sunrise industries, high-tech sunrise industries that doesn't cause any pollution. So these are the usual suspects. I mean, every municipal government in China is interested in attracting investment in these areas, and I don't think Hainan is any exception. And with these preferential,
is that a kind of a competition with Shenzhen, for example?
I'm pretty sure there will be, because look at the profit tax rating. Hainan is very attractive. 15% across the board, no matter how much you earn. That's a very strong value proposition for a lot of companies. Right? So I think there's a strong value proposition here that there will be companies, highly profitable companies, having an eye on that. Look back, we all understand that China's economic success in the last 40-some years during the opening door policy era is also very much contributed by foreign companies investing here in China. It's a indispensable part of a success story. So the question about whether Hainan's future success, potential success story, it can be done without foreign investment, I think it's a big question. We really need these foreign companies, and the problem is that we are facing entirely different geopolitical global landscape right now. Foreign companies look at Chinese marketing through a very different lens these days. Nevertheless, I think relatively speaking, this area is still very peaceful, right? I mean, you see these turmoils in many parts of the world, and by and large, East Asia still represents a big epicenter of the global economic activity. So I hope that foreign companies will still be interested in China, and particularly interested in Hainan.
So the Hainan's tax and duty-free, all this is modeled on Hong Kong and Singapore, but Hainan has a huge geographical space. So that means that production activities can actually happen in Hainan, and with 30% of value added, it can export into mainland duty-free. So this means that Hainan could be very competitive in the future. Once its Freeport ecosystems are completed, and this is extremely important for China when the mainland's economic systems are quite different from those in the rest of the world. So Hainan will become like a laboratory. And remember, Hainan is offshore, like a Freeport. So it means that China's official and private foreign exchange reserves could actually invest in Hainan. Because if it's foreign exchange reserve, no matter it's official or private, you cannot spend within mainland China. So this provides a very important vehicle for China, to use optimally its savings, and basically this is really good for balancing the global trade. Yes, this is the key. In order for a free port to operate smoothly, successfully, it requires an ecosystem, institutional ecosystem, which of course includes the rule of law. Most free ports are on the common law system, and also the financial systems, because every movement of goods and people, needs settlement, needs payment. So the financial system, and which also means the currency, and all this is highly complicated. So it is a huge challenge for Hainan. Even you build all the physical infrastructure, but the software is more important. But I think Hainan has great potential because China already got Hong Kong. So all the software in Hong Kong, is ready for helping Hainan. So I think, yes, the challenge is very, very serious. And of course, you also need the people to run the systems. Hong Kong has a lot of talents. They are ready to help. So in a way, Hainan experiment is just started. I think the decision is a milestone. It's a milestone. But the actual operation successfully, it means that there's a lot of institutional, innovation necessary. But China is ready because of the rich experience in Hong Kong, and also a lot of free trade areas. Their kind of difficulties. Means that in Hainan it could design a much better system instead of piecemeal reform.
Interpretation that we can see of the changes of Hainan's business environment is simply the amount of foreign entrepreneurs that we are now seeing coming to Hainan and daring to perhaps explore new industries and try new things with their own careers. And since the initiative of building the free trade port in Hainan was announced in 2018, and certainly since the overall plan for the construction of the Hainan free trade port was released in 2020, Hainan has been going all out, shall I say, to signify to the world it's open for investment, for entrepreneurship. And that is reflected in the work that it has done to turn all of its processes and various platforms to turn them into bilingual platforms. For example, the Hainan e-registration system for company registration. When I first arrived in Hainan and set up my company, it was still fully in Chinese. Now it's fully bilingual, and not only that, foreign investors, foreign entrepreneurs, they can complete the process fully online, just like Chinese nationals have always been able to do since the system's inauguration. And furthermore, Hainan has gone to great lengths to explain its policies, explain the initiative in easy-to-digest ways. For example, the winning in the FTP, Stories of Hainan's Business Environment Construction, which I participate in the translation of. It is this, I think, rather lovely bilingual comic book, in fact, that introduces the various policies and optimizations that Hainan has introduced over the years in humorous detail. There have been other guides, various guides, and most recently, in fact, just a couple of days ago, the Hainan Free Trade Port International Services Portal was launched, which provides basically building on the foundation of all of these paper-based guides that have come before, and it provides basically a one-stop portal for foreign nationals living, working, and investing in the free trade port, to learn more about the free trade port, to go where, to do what, with many processes online. So Hainan has really pushed the boat out in terms of improving its business environment, especially for foreign investors.
Signal that this opening up actually presents to the rest of the world, including to the Chinese, is a significant big deal. I think in 1978 we now witness how that change has changed China significantly, and after all this time now we actually taking, in my view, a second important historical step in accelerating and expanding, opening up and reform. I think it sends a very strong signal because it's unlike many other previous so-called free trade zones which are located in specific cities. This is entire province or entire island, which is going to be, from the customer standpoint, highly independent. So it's going to be a new experiment for China to demonstrate its commitment and willingness to open up and to reform and to work with the rest of the foreign business community, as well as Chinese business community as well. So from that standpoint, I think there's a lot of expectation for the future development of this FTP. And time will tell how it's going to evolve. But if you look at the achievement of China over the last 4 decades since the reforming opening up, it has been very impressive. So one would expect that this new stage of reform probably is going to bring another very prosperous period for China. Actually, you started by talking about China being the factory of the world. Now China is evolved into a high-tech manufacturing center of the world. And, with the opening up of Hainan, with the situation, the conditions that you talk about, lots more high-tech or technology-oriented manufacturing probably is going to move their operations, at least, manufacturing and R&D centers and so on, to Hainan to sort of take advantage of the, especially the tax privileges, right? But beyond manufacturing and R&D and so on, I think we're also going to see a lot more consumption-related activities that's going to be happening in Hainan because of the tax-free situation. Many products, especially branded products from the rest of the world, will actually gravitate to Hainan because consumer will find buying a similar product in Hainan will be cheaper than, let's say, in New York or Shanghai. So Hainan become very attractive from this standpoint. So we're going to also see a lot of these kind of services that will actually develop as well. As manufacturing, retail, services, and other activities grow up, you will also see, the influx of professional services. I think David started talking about his own business, which is in a way part of professional services. But beyond, teaching or language and so on, there's also many other type of professional services like financial, accounting, legal, and so on. And I also would see many of these kind of services will be gravitating towards Hainan. So I think it's going to be very interesting development on how diversified the economic development of Hainan is going to be given this relaxation in the tariff structure. I think Professor Zhang Gong already mentioned that earlier, and I agree with him. We have seen China practicing this sort of doing experimentation, learning, and then adapt the learnings and then to do more experimentation. That we have seen this before many times during the reform and opening process. I think this time is no different. I think that, I totally agree with Professor Gong's point. While we are seeing this current development as pretty significant and pretty large, is probably only the beginning of something even larger. Mm-hmm. That larger is the transplant of the experience in Hainan into the rest of China. And, even when that becomes a reality, I think China is going to be a totally different country with incredible and overwhelming economic and perhaps other aspects of power in the rest of the world. So I think that is why that is, in a way, is a heritage from the spirit of reform and opening up started by Mr. Deng Xiaoping in 1978, as we started this conversation earlier.